Hey, I hope you guys are doing good today. We are going to be learning everything that's actually in a chicken nugget. Are you ready for this? I think I'm ready for this. Let me know in the comments below. What is your favorite kind of chicken nugget? From where and what kind of dipping sauces do you like? Because I would love to know. And if you have ever made your own chicken nuggets at home, I would also love to know that too because I have never done that. But I love Dino Nuggets from Yummy, and I like Tyson ones. As far as fast food goes, I like McDonald's chicken nuggets and Wendy's spicy nuggets. Love those. If you do get a chance, I'd appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch, and I will have a Weird Food Histories video linked in my description below. So be sure to go give them a subscribe, watch their stuff. Pretty interesting channel. It's pretty entertaining. All right, let's learn about chicken nuggies.
On one dark and stormy night, a mad scientist at Cornell University, hidden from the prying eyes of both polite society and the law, pieced together a veritable Frankenstein's monster from assorted chicken parts and a never-before-seen batter coating. He called his new creation the Chicken Crispy. But unlike the batter,
The chicken crispy. So that's where we started and turned into the nuggie that we all love today.
he called his new creation the Chicken Crispy. But unlike the batter, the crispy name would not stick. When this new creation was finally unveiled to the public, it had an all-new identity, and soon, every man, woman, and child across America would know its name. Today, we're dunking into the sweet and sour history of chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
But before we get
I love chicken nuggets. Like I love chicken nuggets. I have Dino Nuggets in my freezer at the moment. I am a big fan.
started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. And let us know in the comments below what other classic menu items you would like to hear about. All right, get your McNugget buddies in a row. And don't let them see the dipping sauce.
Eat
During
more
the Second
chicken.
World War, the U.S. military seized much of America's red meat supply, and citizens at home were made to ration what was left over. While this caused some to buy their beef and pork from black market meatleggers, a name which makes them sound more
Oh yeah, we did watch about that about the meat leggers. That was what a tasting histories video, learning about all that. I think it was the World War II emergency steak is where we learned the meat legger term, which is so crazy.
caused some to buy their beef and pork from black market meatleggers, a name which makes them sound more whimsical than they probably were. Many instead turned to the military's unwanted, unrationed meat supply, fresh poultry. Soon, farmers began raising more and more chickens to meet this increased demand, and many began breeding their birds bigger and better than ever before. While in the war's final months, the U.S. military jumped on this growing market, driving chicken sales to their highest levels yet. Victory in Japan brought with it beef's heroic return to the home front. Chicken sales quickly plummeted, and there was an immediate issue of too much supply and too little demand.
Oh no.
For the decade
I like a real chicken farm with all those chickens. That's like a chicken army. I kind of want one.
plummeted, and there was an immediate issue of too
Look
much
at all the
supply and too
chickens.
little demand. For the decade and a half that followed, chicken farmers struggled to sell their birds. Whole chickens were too big for individuals to eat on their own.
Who eats like this? Sir, who eats like this? Oh my God. Eat. Ugh. Okay. That totally distracted me. Oh my goodness.
Chicken farmers struggled to sell their birds. Whole chickens were too big for individuals to eat on their own, but too small for the sudden baby boom and the big families that came with it. Enter Cornell professor Robert C. Baker. Baker was a poultry fanatic, and he wanted his fellow countrymen to be just as passionate about chicken and turkey as he was. He'd previously worked outside of Ithaca, New York, and he'd seen firsthand how chicken farmers were struggling to get by. Baker knew that if these poultry pushers wanted to survive, they need to make better use of their birds. His solution? Increased processing, allowing more parts of the bird to be used than ever before. The chickens were less excited about this breakthrough.
Yeah, I bet. What's a nugget?
After receiving his doctorate in food sciences from Purdue University in 19...
I didn't even know that was a thing that you could major in food sciences. Sciences? That's actually kind of cool though.
After receiving his doctorate in food sciences from Purdue University in 1956, Baker headed to a basement lab at Cornell, wherein he devised all sorts of new and innovative ways to make use of chicken. Over the course of his career, Baker would be credited with producing nearly 300 research papers and developing
Oh,
over
wow.
40 different poultry-related innovations, including the first-ever chicken hot dogs and the ever-popular turkey ham, just like
Turkey
Mom
ham.
used to make. Still, none of his other creations would reach the cultural ubiquity of his finest invention, the
I would love to know what else he came up with, what other kind of ideas he had, if they were like super crazy or weird.
None of his other creations would reach the cultural ubiquity of his finest invention, the chicken nugget. While singular in its delectable scrumptiousness, the chicken nugget accounted for not just one of Baker's innovations, but three. It all started
Oh.
in 1963, when Baker was joined by his protege, Joseph Marshall, while attempting to solve two separate age-old problems. How can you make ground chicken meat stick together without using the skin? And how do you create a breading for it that's simultaneously freezable and able to be deep fried? It's harder than it sounds. What they came up with was a grain, vinegar, salt, and milk powder concoction to bind the meat, and an egg and
Okay.
grain-based mixture for the breading. And thus, in
Is
April
this
of
is this like similar if you were to try to make homemade chicken nuggets? I wonder if the ingredients would be similar. I've actually never made homemade chicken nuggets. It seems like entirely too much work. Um, I just like to put them in the air fryer. So I am curious maybe to look up a homemade chicken nugget recipe and see if it's kind of similar.
to bind the meat, and an egg and grain-based mixture for the breading. And thus, in April of that year, without bothering to patent his newfound invention, Baker published the world's first ever chicken nugget recipe under the name of Chicken Krispies in Cornell
Chicken
University's Food
Krispies.
Science Bulletin, Agricultural Economics Research. That issue of Agricultural Economics Research, in turn, was mailed out to about 500 different companies around the country, and it wasn't long before all the usual suspects began claiming that it was them who'd invented the original chicken nugget, leaving Baker, for a time, a mere footnote in the extra crispy history of processed chicken.
Isn't that how it always happens? Especially if he didn't, like what he said, he didn't patent it or anything. So everybody takes credit for it. I feel like that's just a tale as old as time.
For a time, a mere footnote in the extra crispy history of processed chicken.
Mr. McDonald.
In the 1970s, America began to fear red meat. People were concerned that beef consumption was leading to high rates of heart disease. All the cigarettes that were being sold at the time probably didn't help either, but those are easier to hide around the house than cheeseburgers. So in 1977, Congress released the Dietary Goals of the United States. These goals encouraged citizens to forego red meat and to instead eat leaner proteins, like chicken and fish. While following these guidelines may have led to a healthier population in the past, the rise of processed poultry virtually canceled out any
Ugh.
health benefits acquired from making.
That actually looks kind of gross, but I get it. I know chicken nuggets probably do not look good going through the process of becoming a chicken nugget. It's
The
probably
rise of
gross.
processed poultry virtually canceled out any health benefits acquired from making the switch. Science never got in the way of the U.S. government, though, and red meat sales soon fell. Many fast food joints, dependent on burger sales to stay afloat, began to panic. They needed to pivot fast in order to keep things running. To this end, McDonald's led the charge, hiring famed chef Rene Arend for the job. He's the guy who designed the McRib for them, among other things.
I like the McRib. I know some people think it's gross, but I kind of like them. I think every time it comes back, I have to get one. I don't go crazy. Like one is enough until, how much time passes or whatever. But it seems like every year they come out with the McRib for however long, and I feel like I always have to get one. They'll come at me. I kind of like them.
Chef Rene Arend for the job. He's the guy who designed the McRib for them, among other things. Rene's first ideas were a saucy fried chicken breast and a chicken pot pie, both of which the clown quickly shut down. The company then tried their first shot at the McChicken sandwich,
Oh,
the only
McChicken.
menu item at McDonald's nobody wants to eat. But after disappointing sales, they pulled the McChicken from stores entirely. McDonald's Big Cheese,
I didn't think the McChicken was that bad. I mean, I guess realistically, I think I probably would take like a Big Mac over a chicken sandwich if I was to go to McDonald's, right? So I can kind of see that.
Disappointing sales, they pulled the McChicken from stores entirely. McDonald's Big Cheese, Ray Kroc, apparently feeling defeated after these false starts, asked Renee to switch gears and to work instead on making a bite-sized onion ring, as if that would save the struggling Golden Arches. Not
Onion
all of his
nuggets.
ideas were great.
Onion nuggets kind of sound good too, though. That
Onion
picture
ring,
looks
as
good.
if that
Like this, I would get these little onion nuggets. I think that'd be good. I do like onion rings too. There's like I guess very few things that are not good for you that I don't like, I guess.
that would save the struggling Golden Arches. Not all of his ideas were great. Just ask the San Diego Padres. Kroc called this idea the onion nugget.
This is an onion ring that has been made easier to consume.
And the history of humanity
Yeah.
nearly took an entirely different direction. For a brief period, onion nuggets even got a limited release, being sold at McDonald's locations in the late 70s for 45 cents a serving. But then Chairman
My gosh, I would love to pay 45 cents for one. Oh man, that's so crazy.
being sold at McDonald's locations in the late 70s for 45 cents a serving. But then Chairman of McDonald's, Fred Turner, had different plans for us all.
I feel like this picture's kind of creepy. I was never a huge fan of Ronald McDonald though. I never really, I don't know, he always kind of creeped me out.
Serving. But then Chairman of McDonald's, Fred Turner, had different plans for us all. According to legend, he was still hell-bent on a chicken idea. And one day he wondered aloud, "Oh, why not a chicken nugget?" He makes an excellent point.
He makes
Chef
a very
Rene
good
Arend
point.
ran straight up to the kitchen, chopped up some chicken, battered it, fried it up, and voila! The Chicken McNugget was born. After over a year of tinkering with the recipe, McDonald's got in contact with Keystone Foods, the food processing company that already provided them with their frozen burgers, and asked that they start providing tiny chunks of processed chicken as well. Then they also contacted Gordon's, famed for their frozen
Oh.
fish sticks, to provide the company with the perfect batter. And thus,
Oh, that was actually a smart move. Because Gordon's makes, I love their batting on their like fish fillets and stuff like that. They do make a good batter for sure.
famed for their frozen
I didn't
fish
know that.
sticks, to provide the company with the perfect batter. And thus, in 1981, the same year that Rene created his infamous
Although come to think of it now, they do have like very similar textures. Like their batting from these fish fillets to the McDonald's chicken nuggets. They are kind of similar. I never even thought about that.
perfect batter. And thus, in 1981, the same year that Rene created his infamous McRib, Chicken McNuggets found their place in Knoxville area test markets, and the sales were unlike anything McDonald's had seen before. Mickey D's knew they had a hit on their hands, and that they needed a bigger chicken supplier if they wanted to produce their McNuggets globally. So they hit up Tyson Foods.
Oh,
Tyson, in
okay.
turn, bred for the task an entirely new kind of chicken. They called this new bird breed Mr. McDonald.
Mr.
It was identifiable
McDonald.
by its ginormous breasts, which were even bigger than the breasts of Tyson's famed Chicken of Tomorrow breed. Once
Look how big those are. Oh man, these chickens are gigantic.
even-
Look at the size difference. Holy moly.
bigger than the breasts of Tyson's famed Chicken of Tomorrow breed. Once scientifically perfected, these Mr. McDonald chickens were then sent to processing plants all across America and were ground into 4 different nugget shapes: the bone, which is sometimes called the bow tie, the bell,
Oh.
the ball, and the boot, all of which were standardized to
I had no idea that these are actually distinct shapes though. I just thought that that's just like, they were just kind of molded into shapes or like just random things. I didn't actually know that these were actual shapes that they were making them.
bow tie, the bell, the ball, and the boot, all of which were
Fair enough.
standardized to ensure consistent cooking times, and all of which are still made to this day. Finally, in 1983, the Chicken McNugget, with its barbecue, hot mustard, and sweet and sour sauces in tow,
Yes.
was ready for its global debut.
I don't know if you guys like McDonald's chicken nuggets. I like them, but I went through like a whole hot mustard phase, and then the sweet and sour is like what I get now. I usually like kind of bounce back and forth between the two. Those are my favorite sauces. Although I think other countries have different kinds of dipping sauces though, which I think is cool.
Few hot mustard and sweet and sour sauces in tow, was ready for its global debut. The shock waves of which would soon upend the fast food industry forever.
I used to be so excited for these chicken nugget toys too as a kid. I love them. That's definitely like a core memory for me. McNugget madness.
Within the first few months of the Chicken McNuggets release, McDonald's grew into the second largest chicken retailer in the world,
Oh,
trailing
wow.
behind only KFC. In fact, the Chicken McNugget proved so successful that many mistakenly came to believe that it was the clown himself who'd invented the chicken nugget. Should have gotten that patent, Baker. What's
Yeah.
more, before the end of the 80s, McDonald's decided to double down on chicken and gave the McChicken sandwich another shot. And then, in 1988, the McChicken made its triumphant return. People seemed to want it this time around, and while it would briefly be pulled again in 1996, the McChicken had otherwise finally found its footing and was on the menu to stay.
I don't really eat any of the other stuff from McDonald's if I do get it. I usually just get like a Big Mac and nuggets. But I have had the McChicken in the past though, and it's not bad. I think I've tried maybe a couple of their other sandwiches, but if I want something like small and cheap, then I just get like a McDouble because I feel like those are pretty good. But I think I probably can count how many times I've had a chicken sandwich from McDonald's.
The McChicken had otherwise finally found its footing and was on the menu to stay. Meanwhile, other fast food chains took note of McDonald's chicken-based success and wanted in on the action too. Just 2 years after
Yo, those Wendy's spicy nuggets though, oh, those are pretty good too. Those are good with the honey mustard dipping sauce. Oh, fantastic.
McDonald's chicken-based success and wanted in on the action too.
I know I sound like a complete fat ass right now, but I don't even regret this, but spicy nuggets, delicious. McDonald's nuggets, delicious. Yes, I'm a fan, but I do not eat it every day. I don't even eat fast food. I don't even eat fast food every month anymore. So, I mean, I definitely went through phases. Probably when I was younger, I definitely ate a lot of fast food. But now that I'm older, I don't eat fast food very often.
Food chains
As that's probably how you should do it. Just treat it as a treat. So your treat shouldn't be every day, every week, But I definitely enjoy some fast food sometimes.
took note of McDonald's chicken-based success and wanted in on the action too. Just 2 years after McDonald's released their McNuggets, Burger King, ever the royal copycat, came out with their first ever nugget lineup, and Wendy's and KFC soon followed suit. All the while, Chick-fil-A, which first opened its doors in 1946, claims to have beaten McDonald's to the nugget game by a whole year. On their corporate website, they claim to have first started selling nuggets in 1982 at the request of their patrons. And they soon after not only sold nuggets by the half dozen, but in huge party quantities as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen these party trays. These are pretty good too though. Chick-fil-A does chicken really well, I will say. That's probably one of my top favorite chicken sandwiches is from there as far as like a fast food place goes. Definitely like it. And waffle fries and their honey mustard, delicious.
And if you ask us, that's the only
Their spicy chicken sandwich is actually really good too. So I don't know, but they do chicken good. I feel like I think they do chicken pretty good as far as like not if we're counting out any like local places or anything like that. Strictly like kind of like fast food chain type deals. I think it's good. I think it's really good.
a half dozen, but in huge party quantities as well. And if you ask us, that's the only size they should come in. Regardless of who was the very first to sell them, chicken nugget madness had taken over the fast food industry. And it wasn't long before home-baked nuggets came to freezer aisles everywhere. By the late 1980s, Purdue was experimenting with all sorts of nugget options, including your standard nuggets, your star-shaped
Oh,
nuggets,
yeah, that's
and your
right.
football nuggets. But in 1991, they would patent their biggest nuggets of all, the world's first ever Dino Nuggets.
Oh, the Dino Nuggies. These are These are the top tier nuggets, though. Dino Nuggies.
which are just chicken nuggets in fun dinosaur shapes, and not actually chunks of processed stegosaur. And with Jurassic Park coming to theaters just 2 years later, Dino Nuggets were here to stay.
Oh, what great timing for that. You come out with Dino Nuggets, and then Jurassic Park comes out a couple years later. That couldn't have been more perfect for them.
Jurassic Park coming to theaters just 2 years later, Dino Nuggets were here to stay.
The modern nugget.
In 1965, the average individual American ate 36.6 pounds of chicken annually. By 2020,
That's a
that number
lot.
had increased threefold to just shy of 100 pounds, in no small part thanks
That's a lot of chicken. To be fair, though, that's probably about right. I do eat a lot of chicken. Come to think of it, yes, I actually do eat a lot of chicken.
had increased threefold to just shy of 100 pounds, in no small part thanks to the advent of the chicken nugget, which today yields about 2.3 billion servings each and every year. As the years
Damn.
wore on, though, people started to ask, what the heck's even in these things? Way back when they first came out, McDonald's advertised
I don't know. I feel like this might be like, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to. Maybe, I don't know.
what the heck's even in these things?
I don't think it's gonna ruin
Way
it for
back when they
me.
first came out, McDonald's advertised the McNuggets as being savory chunks of boneless white and dark meat, dipped in a specially seasoned batter and fried to a crisp golden brown. But in the 1980s, the Federal Trade Commission began investigating the McNuggets' exact makeup, just to make sure no McBeaks or McToe Claws had found their way into the recipe. It turns out the original McNuggets were mostly thigh and breast meat, along with a little bit of skin and some salt. In 2003, they updated that recipe to include only breast meat. And in 2016, they updated it again to drop all artificial flavorings, colors, and preservatives. Still, a 2013 study by the American Journal of Medicine found that the nuggets from some fast food chains, while the exact restaurants in question were never specified, contain very little meat, and they instead are made up by as much as 60% fat, which, in fairness, still tastes delicious when you dip it.
He's not wrong. It still tastes delicious. I thought this was going to be way more traumatizing to learn than I expected it to be. There's just chicken in there. It's chicken. It's all chicken and some, well, I guess with the skin and some salt. I mean, that's not bad either. Like, so there's nothing that weird.
As 60% fat, which, in fairness, still tastes delicious when you dip it in honey mustard. Around the same time as the study, America went through a pink slime scare, brought about by an expose which aired on ABC. The so-called slime, also known as finely textured beef or boneless lean beef trimmings, is a meat byproduct used as an additive in many processed meats.
This is not fit for human consumption.
Many swore off McNuggets right then and there, even though McNuggets were not and never have been made with the stuff. The McNugget had another brief setback in 2015, when one of their chicken suppliers was found to be engaged in horrific treatment of their animals. But McDonald's and Tyson both distanced themselves from said suppliers, and they've been on the upswing ever since. More
Well, I mean, like, as they should, right? I mean, I think you can only do so well with your suppliers. And then if it turns out that they're not ethically raised or whatever, then yeah, you probably stop dealing with them. I think that's pretty much all you can really do.
than both distanced themselves from said
I do like Tyson brand too, like Tyson chicken patties, nuggets, even their like buffalo nuggets and stuff like that. Like they're all pretty good, not bad.
suppliers, and they've been on the upswing ever since. More recently, in 2022, TikToker Nick DiGiovanni and celebrity chef Linja teamed up to make the world's largest chicken nugget.
This
Oh my
nugget is
gosh.
almost as big as Linja.
What they made ended up at over 46 pounds and utilized 40 pounds of ground chicken, 40 eggs, half a gallon of milk, and
40-pound chicken nugget? Okay, I think that's too much. Oh my goodness. This is a little much, I think. Unless it was shaped in a big dinosaur, then I would maybe change my mind.
utilized 40 pounds of ground chicken, 40 eggs, half a gallon of milk, and 40 slices of bread. And while something so big no longer qualifies as a nugget, that didn't stop Nick and Linja from busting out the confetti and calling up Guinness. Now they just need a gigantic tub of ranch. So what do you
Ew.
think?
What the hell? What is
Calling up
wrong with
Guinness.
people? What
Now
is
they
What the hell is this? Okay. Okay.
Just need a gigantic tub of ranch. So what do you think? Who has the best chicken nuggets?
I like this video. This is really interesting. There's a lot of things that I didn't actually know about chicken nuggets, and I'm glad to know that it was just chicken that was in there all along. I don't know if you ever heard like weird stuff about chicken nuggets where they're like, oh yeah, there's like parts of chicken bones and parts of the chicken that aren't supposed to be like edible that are in there. Like I feel like you always hear that, or it's like it's not even chicken, and it's like okay. So this was a good video. I really enjoyed this. So be sure to give Weird Food History channel a like and subscribe and watch their videos, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite nuggets? If you do like chicken nuggets from fast food places or from wherever, let me know. Let me know what you like. Let me know your dipping sauce of choice. I'm always interested in seeing what everyone enjoys. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.